the first map of each best of 2 is predetermined, but not when they set the players. When they set the players, they just pick an order. So they just go, oh, player 1, player 2, player 3. And the reason for that is because they weren't happy. They were getting a lot of mirror matchups and stuff because the first map was favoring this guy or favoring that guy and whatever. So they had a lot of mirror matchups. They said, no, we'll not give initial maps. We'll give, you guys just set an order of players. And then we just set the maps, map 1, map 2, map 3 for the first of each best of 2. And the second map of each best of 2 is a loser's pick. Which obviously, it was a little bit interesting because it does take, don't get me wrong, it probably does alleviate a lot of the mirror matchup issue. But it does take away a little bit of the strategy of it all, right? Trying to maybe snipe someone or trying to figure out who's going to come out on what map. And to me, it takes away a lot of the fun part of that. So I'm not as big of a fan of it as... Yeah, I'm just not that big of a fan of it, quite simply. So, yeah. Well, map number 1 of this best of 2, and we'll see what Harstem and SpeCial get up to. Both players who I think can absolutely take out each other. I don't even know who I'd really favor going into this immediately. Like, I don't know if there's someone who I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, this guy's got the advantage here, right? It's a tough one to call. I think maybe SpeCial overall usually has like stronger results, but Harstem's been playing very well lately. His performance in Cast of Civil War was really good, but so was SpeCial's. That's a tough call. Nexus goes down on the natural expansion. There is a barracks out on the map a little bit from SpeCial here. Nothing super wild. Obviously, it is built out over there, but it's not really in like a crazy place or anything. It's not properly proxied, so it's just trying to play a bit of a mind game. It will be factory before an expansion, though, from SpeCial. So that factory will be up a little earlier in the game, and that does change a little bit of what you then expect to see maybe coming out of this and so on. So, that's something to maybe keep our eyes out for as well. To catch the probe. So Harstem will lose out on that. Of course, it's 1-1 overall in the series between Shopify Rebellion and PSISTORM, in case you're just joining. First to 4 points wins the best of 7. All 6 maps will be played anyway, though, and of course you'll play a 7th map if it's needed. And the other 2 maps, so it's going to be Harstem SpeCial for maps 3 and 4. Maps 5 and 6, Scarlet versus Gumiho, should also be a whole lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And thank you so much, Paper Knives, for the 10-month resub. Welcome back, and thanks so much for supporting the stream. Alien just moving out into the center here, and just going to see a couple of Reapers be out there with the Hellion to go join up with it as well. And hey, Vipnet, thank you so much for the 25-month resub too. Yeah, 2 Reapers and the Hellion just going to push on forward, and as we get to the front, well, there's going to be an Adept there immediately. The Hellion already taking some damage. The battery is going to finish and just jump up into the main base with the Hellion. 2 Reapers. I don't think SpeCial's going to find any damage at all. It's going to be a good defense from Harstem. That's obviously really nice, just making sure that nothing really happens here too early in the game. Just keep it under control nice and early on. That's always a good sign for the most part. Obviously, games start to get a little bit scrappy and messy when you start losing a couple probes here and there. Just those kind of run-bys and stuff. Just stuff you need to kind of keep on top of as best as possible. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is good stuff from Harstem, good setup, good defense that he's playing. So far, so good. Reapers come back in now. They will try for a probe, and they'll get 1, and they shouldn't get 2. I believe it did go. The Reaper did die in time. SpeCial's going to play the fusion core now. The Phoenix wants to try and get in here to scout this, but obviously SpeCial's going to do a lot to try and zone that from being scouted. So there's going to be that little bit of a back and forth here right now as well. Phoenix comes back around the right side as he gets screamed at a little bit. Apologies, guys. But yeah, just Immortal on the way. Phoenix, I mean, good defense to set up, but again, what does it help you against Battlecruiser? Well, Phoenix can hit the BC wherever, but it's not. They don't exactly trade amazing against it. As the Viking fires, the Phoenix already taking a shot of damage. And obviously, Harstem more than anything would just love some info. SpeCial loves these BC builds into Terran versus Protoss. One of the main things you do with them is you use the BC to try and drag units out of position because they run off to go and defend. And when those units, as the Phoenix goes down, nice catch. When those units go to defend, that's when the main push comes through the middle of the map and you can get like a Marine tank force sieged up kind of wherever you want. If your opponent isn't really paying attention to the middle of the map, and then that becomes very difficult to dislodge while trying to deal with the battlecruiser pressure and so on. Like I say, it is something which SpeCial does a lot in TVP. He showed it repeatedly in the Cast Civil War, or at least builds that continue to kind of use this same idea. The idea of like, you know, proxied Banshees or cloaked Banshees. You pull your unit opponent out of position, bigger push comes through. I'd be surprised if Harstem going into this series wasn't somewhat aware of these possibilities. See if he's going to be able to set up to deal with it. The BC has teleported into the back right corner. It's going to start moving toward the main base mineral line right now. Waiting for our observer to go show us that instead of the dead probe. Now, there is a battery in the main base. The Phoenix is going to come through. And they're going to start putting some damage out. And we are going to be seeing with the damage coming out, the couple units just backing it up a step or two. BC has to go run away, and now the Phoenix is going to come back into the middle. He's aware of this army, likely to be moving somewhere, and he is moving forward with his force to try and catch it. Unfortunately, a Cyclone catches a lock on, and Harstem doesn't really get too much done just yet. BC is back in the natural, and 2 probes lost so far. The Phoenix is going to find reinforcements. That's a huge pick-off, a siege tank of all things. Very nice pick-off with the Phoenix. Harstem playing very well with that, as the BC tries to come back into the main base. So far, only 4 probes have died, and SpeCial is starting to give up on the larger attack. He's pulling back with his main army. He's going to catch the Cyclone here with the Phoenix. He's going to get himself a Viking kill, clearing up some of these units that have been annoying so far in this game. The only issue being is that the Battlecruiser is having a wild time across the map and is absolutely having the time of its life right now. So the BC has a great time, and that's the only thing that's really going super wrong on the side of SpeCial. Also with the Stalkers, the Phoenix showing up, they are going to go in after those, after the BC here, and he is going to be able to chase it down. And he should have teleport back again now, right? If not very close to it. The Stalker's still firing. He's already sent the Phoenix away. He knows the teleport's coming in. There's a second BC in the main base, though. Now this one just teleported across the map. We'll see how we do trying to bust this one down. We'll see how that goes as the Phoenix come across. That pylon still taking a few extra shots of damage over there. And again, we continue to get ourselves all set up. So naturally we go. Probe's going to have to pull away as the Phoenix is going to come engage in. And the BC gets turned around pretty much straight away once more. Void Rays are really nice. It's going to add a lot of damage to the BC, and you can see it's a priority. It's going to be the one that gets Yamato. I love how Harstem... Oh no, it was the Phoenix that got Yamato. I feel like that wasn't the expectation at all. Interesting. I actually do feel like, because SpeCial was target firing the Void Ray, so I do imagine his intention was to kill the Void Ray with the Yamato, and I feel like that was absolutely a mistake. But unfortunately just slipped through the cracks, and that's an unfortunate bit of mistargeting because the Void Ray was the better target. And if you get rid of the Void Ray, it can't deal with, you know, future BCs as effectively. There's now 2 BCs teleport around the back. Harstem's having to continuously deal with this harassment. So frustrating to deal with as the BCs come back in. We get a pylon. We're going to go for the battery. Harstem actually recalls his entire army back over here to get whatever he feels he needs in position to deal with this. Yeah, I mean, this is annoying. Immortal taking some shots right now. His Forge is depowered. He starts, has +1 start and Chrono boosted, and yeah, it's just depowered, so not ideal. There's some more Yamatos. There goes a Void Ray. There goes a Phoenix. So we're losing the air units that was giving Harstem a lot of control against this. And everything that I feel like Harstem did very right against this early, I feel like SpeCial is playing a great continued game. And Harstem is now running into some trouble. We are playing mech. SpeCial adds on 2 more factories. Armory upgrades are beginning. It's been a lot of Marines just to try and keep this alive and to keep this underway. You know, to kind of get this army to this point so you don't die to anything too soon. But now it's going to be that mech switch, and we start to go into later game PvT here versus mech. If Harstem isn't at a point now where he can break this anymore and he has to do something, generally I would just like to see him drop down the... I think you just drop down the the carriers and the fleet beacon and the stargates, right? Just start going into your late game sky toss, because that's generally the best way to deal with a mech army. Especially if the mech play is well set up and has harassment options like the BCs, because you're not going to ever be able to focus on truly properly breaking him. And so if you're never able to properly focus on that, well, then you're always just going to end up in trouble, no? You know, you're just going to always be kind of like trying and running around, never being fully effective. So I think I would rather just see him just have a good go of have a good go of just trying to attack up straight away. And it's exactly what he is deciding to do in the end. You do see this 2 stargates coming through the fleet beacon. Again, BC's being very annoying, just teleporting out of here at the last second and making sure they stay alive and they get used again in the future. BC's just continue to do what BC's very much so do best. This Disruptor is under some fire, but there's not really any high damage dealing units, just Marines and Hellions. Especially when those Marines have no upgrades, they're not exactly super terrifying or anything, so there's going to be a Disruptor that gets to live, and now the army of Harstem's got across the map. That's a lot of tanks, though. I can't imagine we go attacking into that, and that's what I mean. That's why going into this kind of Skytoss army is absolutely the better choice. We are going to do it with Tempest initially as well, so we're going to play Tempest. That means he can chip from afar. Don't hate that. I think that's absolutely fine, too. That's absolutely going to be okay. As the Disruptor shot there does not quite land. And this army of SpeCial still pushing up. It's going to be another Yamato. Lands on an Immortal. Disruptor still coming through. Our Stalker's trying to deal some damage, picking away at those BCs. And this is just a large push now from SpeCial, but this is where the Tempests are going to be critical. They're going to be good against the Battlecruisers. They're going to be good against the army from afar. I don't think this mech army is going to be able to just kind of push straight on in or anything. The first BC Nelly going down, but not quite enough firepower on it. Only 2 of the 3 Tempests were here. If the 3rd Tempest was here, that would have been a dead BC by now. They're going to teleport back home, so they are just going to go and get a repair. I'm just going to deal with these few units that made their way up to the top side. That shouldn't be too problematic. And then, as I was saying, you can kind of start focus on maybe the rest of this army and maybe start, like I say, get the Tempest into position, using those to chip away at things. We do have Thors on the way out from the SpeCial to bring the Thor count up a little bit. It'll be kind of fun as, again, tanks just under fire. Just going to see tank after tank continuing to go down. A few Hellions do move up the top side of the map. So away they go. The Stalkers into the middle of the map here and just going to be having the Backfield Accelerator coming through, Drilling Claws as well. Hellions still picking away at these probes. 6 workers going down. Stalker's cleaning out the Hellions, dealing with all of that, and that's going to be a little bit of harassment cleaned up, and now the BCs are showing up again, and the probe count is really starting to drop a bit. Now, Harstem had a lot of probes to begin with, so maybe this ain't all so bad. We go chasing the BCs, and once again, the teleporting out last second, being extremely freaking annoying. It's so frustrating to play against, right? It's like, you are doing the right thing to get there and defend, but your opponent just has that kind of get-out-of-jail-free card, and that's why the BCs are here. If they didn't have that, they wouldn't be used in this way. They wouldn't be being played like this, but that is what is so annoying. It is so frustrating. Ah, that's tough. Just gonna see how Stalker's trying to move through, and the tank shot does push the Stalkers back just slightly. A few probes going down once again. Tempest is going to come through this bottom side, going to get themselves a siege tank already. The Cyclone getting a lock on. DCs are still looking to push up the top. The Disruptor shot firing, but not quite landing. And Stalker is going to go through, and a few more Hellions as well. So chip through this, take those down. Now the BCs are going to show up. We are going to be having the Thors and the tanks coming into position. We see one Tempest already getting nuked just immediately, so that Tempest disappears. Fine, see you later. As the The BCs continue along the right side, going to get rid of the Nexus. And this is really how SpeCial stays in this game. These BCs just getting a lot done. That's a dead BC though, I think. Yep, we finally got a kill on one. Nice. I was going to say, because even if it started teleport, the second shot was going to be enough to kill it, and obviously that was a pretty big play. So that's a nice catch. Stalker's coming forward, going to be turned around by those siege tanks. And that's going to be seeing the few tanks now firing away on the Nexus there. PC's pull back out to the bottom right corner. Tempest's going to move through it as well. Raven's going to die instantly. He does drop a Matrix on 2 Disruptors, but there was other Disruptors that got to fire, and they went for the Thors. You want the Thors against the, the air units, but the Thors are very large and immobile, so Disruptors, while it takes a few Disruptor shots, 3 to kill a Thor, it's still good to Disruptor shot Thors because they can't dodge the shots. So it's guaranteed big hits of damage, and obviously there's no overkill, so the Disruptor, all the Disruptor damage goes out in those scenarios. And that's why you do actually see those Disruptors being utilized there against the Thors, and why Harstem will continue to add more Disruptors into his army as the game progresses through. Tempest firing, going to get rid of one of them with the Thors. A couple of Disruptor shots trying to come through, not going too well though. So Stalker pulls back around the right side, and now DTs are going to move in and go after a chunk of SCVs. So 5 workers already going down, make it 6 and counting. The DT harass has been good. That's not the first time we've seen it show up in this game. And it's definitely given Harstem just a little bit of extra pressure on the map at good timings, just allowing him to get a lot done. As you see a Stalker blown up by a Widowmine, it's going to be a Disruptor shot, just dead center on some Thors. Oh my god, hits 4 Thors. I mean, that's so much value from a single Disruptor shot. What I'm talking about. That's going to be another one. Boom. Thor's just taking a bunch of damage. PSISTORM's trying to walk their way forward, as we do see units from SpeCial going to come down the other way. The Tempest over here going to get rid of another Battlecruiser. The BC's going to teleport on top of this army. We are going to blow up more Thors, or the Disruptor shots are doing amazing. And okay, that one maybe could have pulled back actually onto the Thor, but otherwise Disruptor shots have been great. Harstem obviously killing a lot of SCVs, clearing out BCs, clearing out Thors. He is losing some units himself, but overall, I feel like what we're seeing is that SpeCial is having a lot of trouble getting his army to ever really break Harstem. And if that's the case right now, that should kind of just remain the case. And obviously, that's very nice as these Stalkers come back around the center. Widowmine does blow up one of the Stalkers as well. Zard's going down. Disruptor shots landing on Thors once more. That's going to be another one. Boom. Big connection. That's going to see the army of Harstem continues around the far right-hand side. Thor still firing. Disruptor shot trying to reach. Doesn't quite make it there. The DT's on the top left. Going to come around too. And this Stalker still pinging away at a command center as well. Again, doing the absolute best that it can right in here. Now Stalkers will continue to push this command center. And it is going to go down by CC in the bottom right corner. He will be forever missed. It's nice because obviously you're denying these bases coming up. SpeCial's making it difficult for you to get bases, but you're returning the favor. And again, it's just going a long way to keeping you in this game. It really has been back and forth, and once again, DT is going to show up and get a lot done. IV Stalker count, blinking away from mines. Oh my god, all of these SCVs are just dying. SpeCial's, work count's actually going to start looking kind of weak for the first time. The Cyclone's on the way over. I mean, obviously this orbital will just lift eventually. Yep. DTs end up blinking out of there and getting out of trouble. Now we've got this push down this bottom side. Boom, this orbital pretty much guaranteed to die. So there goes the orbital. BCs. I think they just turned to try and Yamato, but they couldn't. And now these BCs have already teleported home. Finally, we're going to get rid of the Battlecruisers. No, don't tell me one of them lives. Harstem's like chasing it desperately. Oh my god, Disruptors across the map are aiming for Thors, and they are getting big connections. And of course, the Disruptors just kite back and wait for their shots to come off cooldown. They will just do the same again. SpeCial will not do very well across the map here, I don't think. And Harstem's doing brilliantly. There is nothing to stop him. He's basically on top of production. He's almost in the main. He's obviously killing off a lot of bases. He is losing some external bases of his own, but his supply stays nice and high. He's going to be seeing the missile turret is going to try and kill a Colossus because this game is just that wild at the moment. Another round of disruptor shots. Kaboom on the Thors once again. Maybe could have done a little better there, but it's going to be enough. Special has to GG out. Harstem played a very good game. I mean, SpeCial too, don't get me wrong, but SpeCial threw everything in the kitchen sink at Harstem. Harassment with BCs and all sorts, and Harstem just kept his nerve, played very well. Playoffs, and then map score is the determining factor after the points. So, yeah, the points are kind of important. They are pretty crucial. So winning without an ace match is pretty cool. Obviously, from SpeCial, just having the chance to give Gumiho a shot for winning without the ace match, that's what he's kind of playing for. SpeCial's in the bottom right, Harstem's in the upper left, and it is Berlingrad, the map pick here of SpeCial. Not a surprise, this Curious Minds was almost always going to be the choices. It was almost always going to be one of those two. And, yeah, it is one of those two, so Berlingrad it is, and we'll see what Harstem has planned. Harstem has a lot of tricky things he likes to do on this map, sometimes like an early gateway, try and get an early unit out, put some pressure on early. We've seen a lot of Protoss players applying similar approaches, but SpeCial opens double gas, so he's not going to try and expand quickly, and that would shut down anything like what has been very popular from Zaun, like the double gate opening. It just shuts down a lot of early pressure, so it just guarantees you going into the mid game. But of course, then you're giving up a little bit of an early economy, and that at least makes the transition for you a little bit slower, and that gives your opponent a little bit of a better chance to get set up and to deal with it and all that stuff as well. So there is that kind of circle and cycle of how it all works out at the end of the day. SCV is going to grab themselves a probe kill. Reaper still coming up, is about halfway done. As you can see, Reaper is going to be finishing up shortly. I'm just going to go Reaper number 2. Not too surprising when you've got that double gas, right? You've got a lot of gas income, so a Reaper can actually afford a second one without slowing down a factory or a starport, etc. And SpeCial now down to the low ground ready in his expansion. So we'll get that expansion underway now as well. So far, so good. This time Harstem's going to play Stargate. They played Stargate last time too, played that Phoenix opening. When you're playing against a double gas and hence a later expansion, Stargate is once again very powerful. Stargate and especially Phoenix are pretty much your go-to for shutting down more or less every kind of pressure that can arrive. It's definitely the move to make, right? Get Phoenix up, they can lift up units, they can deny run-bys. They're just very good defensively early in the game. Now, there's some things they're not as good against like 3 racks and stuff, but yeah, when you know it's double gas, when you know it's a 1-base setup, I think one of the best things you can do is just to play a Phoenix opener, as we do already. Lose 2 probes, and that Stargate is scouted, so SpeCial playing with good information at least. And he immediately starts up a Viking, and there is Harstem playing the Phoenix. It's just the expectation. You know, why even go for the Oracle as well, right? It's just that sort of... It's just going to delay the Phoenix. And the Phoenix are, again, what you really, really want. The Oracle gives you information and vision and, you know, tells you exactly what's going on. The Phoenix can scout like that as well if they want to. Obviously, without as much harassment potential as early. That's a nice block. That's going to have that Reaper caught, so we are going to kill the Reaper now. Nice little play from Harstem, getting rid of some of these early units at least. In the end, it's not going to be anything too aggressive and SpeCial. That's a great Widow Mine. Catches the Phoenix coming across and just going to make it low HP. Now has to be super careful about where it moves after. And of course, it can't do anything about the Widow Mines. The Widow Mine's just going to walk out of there, relocate, and be elsewhere in the future. Obviously, otherwise these Adepts would have come and found it already and killed it off. So, yeah, good play from SpeCial. Nice first Widow Mine shot, just softening up a Phoenix. And, yeah, Harstem, all he wanted to do was get in and scout. But now you can't do that either, because the Viking would have just killed the Phoenix off with it being low HP. So it's actually a really influential Widow Mine shot. Even if it doesn't get a kill, it still denies a lot of what Harstem wanted to do in these early minutes. this Withermine's a freaking hero. Kills one of the Adepts as well. Viking will stand its ground against a couple Phoenix, not too afraid. And what's good is that the Liberator has gotten out onto the map without being seen. So getting out onto the map is big. And now we're going to have this Hellion is going to come through for some scouting. And maybe even a probe kill. The Phoenix do grab a... Oh, no, 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 no! Kaboom. Okay, still no dead dead Phoenix, but now 2 Phoenix that are very low HP. And are going to be very susceptible to attack a bit further down the line. Yeah, it's going to be a little awkward for sure. Here comes the Lib sieging up into the main base. And it's going to start picking its way through a whole chunk of probes. 4 or 5 workers going down pretty much immediately. Phoenix there do grab that, so yeah, job well done. Just gonna be seeing a couple extra racks coming through. Factory and starboard all coming up, and now Raven and our siege tank underway. As SpeCial, I think, is probably pretty happy with how this game has gone so far. It's been a nice setup for him. We'll see what the next step is. Shots that he once again delivering, and man, these Phoenix are not having a fun time at all. This has been like a clinic on just shutting down Phoenix from SpeCial. It feels like every little thing he tries to do is just one more disaster kind of added in for Harstem. It's like another Phoenix lost, another bunch of HP down the drain, and almost nothing gained in a lot of those situations as well, I think is one of the big things. Phoenix go out to the left side, and just going to be having the few units of SpeCial sitting out the front of the third, and yeah, we just have ourselves hostage again aggressive. I mean, a couple of Adepts, he's gone a more... I mean, this is not an army that should really stay on the map for very long. They're playing a dangerous game. It's all good pressuring, but the moment you stay out there that moment too long, and boom, next thing you know, army's overwhelmed, army's gone. Yeah, you gotta be very careful and very particular about how you play that. This little probe gonna scout out the left side, drops a little pylon in, and it's gonna have some vision, so he will see some drops coming up the left side. And again, he needs to make sure stuff like drops and so on don't get in and deal a lot of damage, because he's already playing off the back foot. So if you're playing from behind and then you let SpeCial get in to do even further damage, you're basically signing the game away. But it is very possible. It is very, very possible that you defend a drop, you even catch a drop, you kill it early, and that can start to swing things as well. This is a far away from a lost game. It's just one you have to play from behind in. Have the laser beams going off there. These Phoenix down the right side are going to sit overhead on the natural, have absolute full potential to deal some damage, and there we go. Going to start getting rid of some of these SCVs. 4, 5, 6. Any more? Any more? Yeah, just 6 for the moment apparently. It's okay, that's alright. A few battle units unloading in the center, going to grab themselves a little probie as well, so just picking up that. And continuing back down the right hand side. Cyclone will kill the Adept. Let's see our Bioforce still moving up the top of the map, and we do have a few tanks mixed in with this as SpeCial. I mean, this is where you take that advantage. You've been building up all game, and you try and make full use of it. You try and get it in position. You try and make it happen. Let's see if he's going to find success, as his tanks are kind of leading the charge down the ramp. I mean, that's 2 tanks that are just going to be gifted here. Okay, a few Zealots go down. We Matrix an Immortal and a Colossus. Now we feed back the Raven, which doesn't quite kill it off. Obviously, feedback, not a lot of damage done when it's low HP, so... We do, however, oh my god, have a crazy Marauder yell as the units on the bottom side get taken down. We try to drop the main, but the Phoenix are there. Now we're going to engage in. Harstem will have the Zealots to tank this. He does not have anything to deal with the Vikings. Fortunately, there's only really 2 of them. Okay, I say he doesn't have anything. He has the Phoenix, of course. And the Phoenix will get rid of the Vikings, and Harstem is going to make a spectacular hold. I say spectacular, not that it was like super like there was no one part in particular that made you like super impressive, but everything came together there. Like the start of the fight was very good for him. He dealt with the units on the bottom. He re-engaged the right time. Everything about it was just very, very good. Maybe spectacular is not the word, but it was just a very well-rounded and convincing fight from Harstem, and puts him into a very good position compared to where he was. I mean, now you could argue the game is at least even, if not maybe even Harstem favored. Because Harstem's the one now hunting. He's the one that's going to be on the map trying to find damage. And other than that, I mean, worker counts are good, base count is good on either side. So yeah, Harstem being able to have map control is going to be kind of my main kind of factor in terms of picking who's ahead. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Harstem for the moment. He's now going to have a chance to build into a Dark Shrine, an extra robo facility. All of these things, which a minute or two ago seemed like a luxury because he wouldn't be able to get to them properly because he would just die in the process. Now he can afford them. Now he can get to them because he's had that great defense. And he's going to try and build on that as... Oh, what a probe scout. Going to see those medevacs flying to the top right-hand side. That is a huge, huge catch. As we do lose the pylon on the left, so SpeCial is just trying to split this up, move this around. Yeah, big catch from Harstem. Really nice to be able to see that early. And now he just knows he needs to prep for a defense against that incoming drop. I'm grabbing an adept here, and we actually do have the units on the right side going to come up, and they're going to chase for a couple of zealots as well. So try to see what they can do. Shotgun zone out this army in the center, so that's not going to get very far ahead either. And now zealots going to charge in from the left. And we go. A couple of SCVs already starting to... Well, okay. Okay, nothing going to happen there. So that was a massacre. Those zealots just ran into the choke point of doom. And that was the end of their excursion into the wilds of the Protoss Terran base. Harstem's still behind upgrades, but he is working on those. And actually, SpeCial doesn't have a +2 armor even started yet, so he's going to be missing out on that, as this army split now is going to be something Harstem has to deal with. The army on the left already doing well. It's DT and Phoenix on the right side that are doing okay, but now all the Phoenix are dying. It's a little scary because that was the majority of the anti-air up until this point. As Harstem's army is just disappearing. I mean, he's lost his base, he's lost those probes, he's lost the Phoenix. He's not really been ready for this movement of units, and he's actually getting punished pretty hard for it. You can see the tanks in position over here are just able to zone so effectively with the position they get into. And yeah, it feels like Harstem just lost track of things for a moment or two, and all of a sudden, everything is not looking pretty for him any longer. Damn. Oh, okay, I don't feel like that lift was necessary. I feel like the Zealot had it under control, but I mean, let's see if Harstem can find another good fight. There are a lot of low HP Marines, right? I mean, in theory, with those Marines being such low HP, this fight can turn pretty quickly because the Bioforce will just get deleted way faster than you would usually expect. So that is a possibility for how this turns out. This command center being forced to lift up and burn down. I mean, obviously Harstem does have the DTs and so on the map now, so stuff like that will help him to harass and maybe take some steps back into it. It's just so frustrating to play against this Terran army that has so many tanks in it and can really control the map because you kind of lost a bit too much beforehand. Now you can't really stop them from just moving where they want to be. Blinking with the DTs. Actually, that could be a pretty cool fight. A lot of the tanks are missing from this fight as well, so the DT's doing very well. A great fight for Harstem. He kills the full medevac as well. Huge catch. And these last couple medevacs go down as well. Everything is lost. Even these Vikings will go down. Oh, SpeCial. A horrible fight for him. And Harstem will capitalize. Blinks these DTs back, gets them out of trouble from the tanks. He just has 5 tanks that were just sat here not doing anything. DTs wanting to be careful. Scans will be needed. As this is going to be a tough fight still because of all the tanks on the high ground, but we're just going to lift them up with the Phoenix. There's nothing to stop the Phoenix doing that, so now we get to move forward. We're going to blow up the tanks with disruptors, and now we're basically on top of these tanks when the Phoenix have to drop them off, where we can lift them up one more time. And Harstem continues to make his way through this Terran army. What looked to be unkillable moments ago has now been killed. Harstem, what a defense. This one was pretty sick, but again, I feel like these attacks are just not good from SpeCial. I feel like as good as it is, Harstem is really taking good fights. A lot of it is on SpeCial as well, who's taking bad fights. You know, Harstem is taking what he's given and he's making good things with it. Don't get me wrong. But SpeCial is giving him... SpeCial is giving him a lot of these opportunities on like a golden platter because he's just messing up the position and the engagement. Like I say, the tanks were just left behind in that fight on the right side, so that was not pretty at all. So just a few things to think about is now the DTs get down here. Okay, this is only good if the DTs get out alive though. Where are they gonna go? Blink further right? Okay, this isn't so bad actually because now they can blink back with the army, so that actually went better than I thought it was. I didn't think they were gonna be able to get away like they did. Oh, that disruptor shot's huge! Oh, SpeCial's just chasing. He's in desperation mode. He's just not stopping for anything. That's not pretty. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. That's absolutely not what should be going on. That's not how this should be looking. And yeah, this is a bad situation, huh? SpeCial's going to have an army in the middle of the map that just is not going to do very well at all. And Harstem's just going to run through. I mean, he could probably jump on this, but he's maybe a bit unsure. There is SimCity back over here as well. He probably doesn't want to go fighting through all that SimCity because that becomes very dangerous. And this couple Phoenix start to die. They're not the end of the world kind of units to lose right there. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have Phoenix, but losing out on them is not going to kind of be game ending at least. We're at that point where we don't need them as much as we needed them earlier in the game, so don't worry too much there. Harstem maintaining the supply lead now, having turned this game around. He is on the verge of a W, which would put Shopify Rebellion onto match point in this series and would give Scarlet the chance to close up house against Gumiho and give Shopify Rebellion the first win of the season. Big push from Harstem on the far right side. It's going to start moving through. He's going to have disruptor shots that just won't be denied. Bye-bye, Terran. My goodness. 4 disruptor shots to say adieu. And that, my friends, is going to be Harstem and the Shopify Rebellion picking up 2 maps in the middle of the series. Big map wins. Great job from Harstem. I mean, credit to him. He played from behind and he played some good games from difficult spots. I can only say that I'm impressed.